Oh my goodness. Peace YouTube, this is Fleur Boone coming to you quickly. I am hot as heaven. I'm so sorry I am late, but I am right on time. I just came from doing deeds at the 1 p.m. We are still in the 13th hour, just 1 minute in. I made sure I made this immediately because many of you are waiting. Today is our executive order. We are clearing. I made it right before that 2 o'clock mark. I was out doing deeds. I wasn't creating petitions. I was making executive orders and having them implemented. So check on in. Listen, today is a partial lunar eclipse. Again, I apologize for those who are waiting for me at the 1 o'clock mark. I was at my undisclosed location doing the things that were necessary to make sure that executive orders were being placed in strategically. And I also, big up to, let me just say while everyone's checking in, big up to all of those who, there were a few people who made amazing donations beyond my greatest, I'm so grateful, and beyond my greatest even thoughts. So they had asked that I write a petition, and I said, I'm not writing any petitions. I'm making executive orders, because we're not asking anymore to sever ties from these diabolical beings. We are in our cycle. So now I'm making executive orders. So big up to those sea stars and sun stars who made an incredulous donation. I'm really grateful. Thank you. And I did your petition, and there were a few people who actually made donations, and I will actually show you those now. I brought some goodies because I was, obviously, you know, I like to bury things. And I was somewhere, but what I did is because it was so hot, my phone overheated. So normally I would give you a chance to see. It didn't matter. You weren't going to see exactly where I was, but you'd know where I was. I didn't get a chance to let you see what I was doing, but I did bring some remnants, and I still have petitions that I can do. So for the 2 people who made amazing donations, their petition was done on site. It was like 1,000 degrees, so it was like heaven. I was disinfecting. I had a fever. Whenever it gets so hot, you should be grateful because it's burning away. I actually did a burning and bury. So I did burning and bury, which was the 2 B's. So I really enjoyed it. We're going to do that today. Today is the lunar eclipse. It is time to sever ties. You aren't asking anymore. You are commanding. There isn't any more petitions that you should be writing or asking or begging for righteousness to come online. You have every right to command and demand what is rightfully yours right now. Karmic debt is being paid, and we are utilizing the lunar eclipse to cut all ties. So if anyone has a petition, like I said, for the ones who made donations, I'm going to do one other who made a donation just a moment ago, and I'm going to write the petition, and you're going to see what I do. And I actually brought some residue back from my secret location. So I will actually burn and bury in front of you, so you get a chance, so we can actually witness. So if anybody has petitions, you know what to do. Not petitions, executive orders. I'm going to make sure that I have my handy dandy red pen. I feel like Blue's Clues. Remember Blue's Clues? Blue's Clues, Blues, but it's Red Clues. I have my red pen. My petition will be made on this. If you don't have parchment paper, this is, you can also use a brown paper bag, okay? So it's not a petition. We're doing executive orders today. So these are going for those. I did 2 already for the amazing donations. I did it on site where I was. I did a burn and bury. I brought some residue back for those who want me to do it on site right now. We are doing our clearing. So all those bastards, all those diabolical handlers, those beings who have made your life very difficult but also have illuminated you, you are severing ties. We're about to do this. I'm going to show you what I'm doing on site. Let me put my camera so you can see. Hold on. I think it's fine. Uh-oh. Can I do this? Sometimes. Hold on. Okay, I think I have it. Okay. All right, so I'm going to do it on site for you. Maybe we should get some mood. So check on in. For everyone who's just checking in, I apologize. I was on site declaring, executing my executive orders, and I did burn and bury today. Remember, we're utilizing this beautiful portal that's open in lunar eclipse is when we can release and cut cords. If you have everything ready, sit down. I'm doing for the few people who made donations, sizable donations. I did theirs on site. There's one person who just made a donation before I came on. I'm doing for them now, so you get a chance to see that. I think it's amazing. I'm very grateful for those. Hold on. I wanted to get, hold on, family. So we're here. This is a Starbucks cup, but I actually made my own coffee, cafezine. I'm not drinking Starbucks as much anymore because the coffee doesn't taste quite as good. Hold on, I wanted theme music while we do this. I don't know why it's not working. Oh, here we go. Hold on, family. Okay. Hold on, everyone. I'm doing this. As you're going, if you're going to write the petition, we're going to do it together. I'll show you, not the petition, executive order. I have to change my verbiage. Again, if you're just stepping in the room, I was on site. Today's a lunar eclipse. Please put your red pen in order. Make sure today is a day of red or black because today is Mars Day. So you have a right to declare and to, there isn't any longer begging and pleading for others to give you what you're rightfully yours or to have justice come online. This is your day to say, listen, mofos, this is what it is. I command that justice be and everything be resolved. I clear and cut cords of all you diabolical mofos who've made my life difficult, but have also brought me to higher planes of consciousness. So hold on. I'm trying to get sounds. Okay. Here we go. So, executive orders today, everyone. This is a purge. If you aren't ready to clear, you shouldn't be on this site. I hope everybody's ready. Some people have Florida water. I look horrible. It is what it is. Let's see if everybody's on site. Oh, well, to one I look amazing, to one I look horrible. It's all good in the hood because it's not about what others think about you, it's how you feel about yourself. Okay, so family, we're writing our executive orders. I just came from on site, from burning and burying. Right now, for those, I did two executive orders. I have here where I will burn someone's command, and I will bury it with some of the residue I brought on site that will give us the same effect of me burying it if I'm on hollow ground. Let's just say that. I just brought this with me, okay? So write down the things that you aren't in alignment with. Make sure you add things that are out of negation, okay? Hold on, I'm gonna show you how I do this. So I'm writing down an executive order for the third person that actually made a wonderful sizable donation. This is for them. You will see it. Yes, No, you don't write your names. You write the person's name. You write the place. You write the feeling. The thing that you want to cut cords with, that is the only name you write. So if it's something that's bothering you or an aspect of yourself that you want to release, you say this aspect of myself. It isn't any reason to write your name on this as we're going to burn and release. This is cutting cords. So there isn't anything that you should put your name on, at least in my opinion. Okay? Now, for the person that I'm writing, I have to write their name. Remember, I am doing their executive order. So because of that, I have to add their name to it because it isn't me. I'm a third party. Okay? Make sure you write it in all caps. Remember, you can utilize the fact that we're all on here. We're energetically putting more energy because once you visually see it, this is a nice thing about having a collective. A lot of people know this. When you have a collective and you put so much angst into something and you put more energy into it, it allows for it to work faster. It's actually a catalyst having this much energy with people viewing it. So this is a wonderful thing. So if you want to write it, we all collectively will put energy in releasing those things aren't for your greatest and highest good. Make sure you write it 3 times. Make sure you start. Is everyone getting, there we go. We see everybody, I'm feeling the energy. Make sure you're cleaning and cleansing yourself. If you're smudging, make sure you're releasing. Everyone should be releasing right now, smudging your space. If you've already done your executive order and you've already burned or buried or cut, make sure that you're sitting here and just releasing, clearing the space, Santo Palo, some sage, some Florida water, some holy water for the demons that may be on his feet, trying to get a part of our party. I'm almost done. Make sure it's all in caps. I'm going to give you an idea. I'll show you a little bit of it.
One of the exciting things about writing and teaching
of course
class is that I have skills and experience.
Of course, when you do something on YouTube, there's always a commercial, right? No, I don't want that. Okay, here we go. Hello, this is a release party. We have an executive order. We're releasing today for the lunar eclipse. If you're just walking in the room, we are now writing our petition. I've already started. I already went on site to do my own executive order. I did a burn and bury on site because it was so hot. My phone didn't work, so you couldn't actually visually see it. But I did bring residue, and there were some wonderful people who made sizable donations for me to do a petition, which I consider to be an executive order because we have a rite of passage today. So I will be doing burn and bury while you're in sight. So I'm doing somebody else's executive order right now, and you will see me burn and bury it. You are releasing all cords. Those things are not for your highest and greatest good today. This is your rite of passage. All karmic debt is due. You aren't asking anymore. You are commanding and demanding. Okay? So how you're doing is make sure you get a parchment paper. Many people don't have parchment paper. I already used mine, but I wanted to show you can use paper bags. You write on this a red pen because today is Tuesday. It is Mars Day. Resume in power, Max Spears. That's the love of our lives. Max Spears was at bomb.com. How pertinent today. So make sure you're writing in all caps. I always feel like more energy, just like when somebody types. When they're writing something passionate online, they write in all caps. Make sure it's in all caps. There isn't any need to write your name on there. All you write is your intention. For people that I'm writing for their executive order, I have to put their name because I'm a third party. And again, I'm doing those for those who have made amazing donations. I didn't ask, they just gave, and I'm really appreciative. And I make sure that I take care of our own. So let me write this, sit down. For those who have already done their burn or bury or cut cut your ties. This is a beautiful time to sit down, relax, enjoy, burn your Santo Palo, clear your space. Just know that today is karmic debt, and we're kicking out all those cords out the door. We're cutting all ties to all those diabolical. So if you have an AI in your life that's causing havoc, if you have a handler that you just cannot release, this is the day that you cut the cord. You have every right to command it. There isn't any more asking. There isn't any begging. We're not making kumbaya protests. We're basically taking back what's ours, which is our right mind, our peace of mind, and literally living cohesively in a higher way. So if you're down with that cause, stay a while, write your command. This is an executive order. We are now clearing up space. It's the lunar. Big up to all those who are joining for the lunar. You don't have to be prepared, everybody. If you have a paper bag, if you can't do it now, do it later. You have the whole, I think it's 2 days that you have for the lunar eclipse energy. Take a paper bag, write in caps, red pen. Today's Tuesday. Make sure that you're writing. It was hot on site. I was trying to let you see everything, but I couldn't because even my lipstick is peeling. It was hot. It was hot as heaven. And it was disinfecting me. I felt like a fever, like I was burning away. All those things weren't for my highest and greatest good. So, but because I knew that I would come back to you, I brought some wonderful residue to bury right on site. It's fresh. So when I burn your petition, I'm gonna bury it in this, and I'm gonna put it in the yard where there's actually a place that's really nice underneath my Harry Potter tree, okay? So let me finish writing this, continue to do so. Let me write this, and then I'm gonna show you how to burn and bury. Make sure you write it 3 times. Okay, this will be my 3rd time, and then I'm gonna burn and bury. Why you write it 3 times is it solidifies. 3 is almost like, you know, it's the trifecta, it's the Trinity. It always, whenever you do things 3 times, that's why the Illuminazis do things 3 times. They always do things in 3s. Okay. Now, when you do your burn and bury, make sure, okay, I wrote it. I don't want to put their name out there. This is what I have. I'm going to take this bag. I want to make sure that I'm doing it safely. So as you see, I always have this beautiful big, I bought this from around the Mayan temple years ago. So I'm going to take this. If you want to make it a little more safe, if you're going to fold anything, you fold it away from yourself, okay, because you're releasing, okay? So if you're cutting ties of anything, you want to fold it away from yourself. So you take the paper and you fold it away from you, okay? So You can fold it 3 times. 1, 2. And usually people do it counterclockwise. I'm just doing it quickly to do it like this. It's all gonna be the same residue regardless. I have my wonderful fresh dirt from my on-site that I just came from burning up like I was in heaven itself. Okay, so I like to use, it's nice to use a match, if the match will work. I'm dropping everything. All right, so we are executing our executive orders right now. I'm doing one Little Missy's executive orders that she required from me. She contacted me today, right before I was coming on with you guys, and asked if I could do a release for her on site. I couldn't do it on site. I did the other 2 on site, but I brought on site residue, which is just as good. So I'm doing a burn and bury for our wonderful sea star who's releasing something that isn't serving her highest and greatest good. This is for her benefit. So I will show you if I can actually get everything right. So we're releasing and we're executing her executive order. This is a burn and bury. So goodbye to all those things that do not service your highest and greatest good. And you can actually focus on this and release anything inside yourself that needs to be released. We're burning away. Fevers get rid of diseases. They get rid of viruses. They help to clean and cleanse us. This is very necessary for us to rid. I'm really grateful to the sea stars who said they like to burn, and they explain why. Big up to the Nistas who actually had a whole explanation as far as rather than me just burning, to burn it and clear it, because it disinfects it. This actually gets rid of it. So this is for all those who have unhealthy partnerships that you want to clean. This is for all those who are feeling out of sync because of the handlers in their life not being encouraging. These are for these aspects of yourself that aren't able to normally be cleared because you're unable to actually fully move forward into you clean aspects of yourself. Whether this is we're ridding of your insecurity, we're ridding of our insecurities, we're ridding of our sadness, we're ridding of those people that are not serving our highest and greatest good and not for the benefit of the planet. We're releasing those demons on this planet that are harming children, that are hurting women, that are hurting men. We're releasing them. We're cutting all ties and cords to those beings that aren't for the benefit of Mother Gaia, Mother Tiamat. We are letting go of those things that have harmed you, have harmed your consciousness, and have kept you out of your peace of mind. We're releasing those things that are unnecessary in your life. This is everyone's cord being cut. So if you want to focus on this, and this being you clearing your own karmic debt, anything that you want to, not your karmic debt, let me reword that. Clearing anything that isn't for your highest and greatest, we're releasing it right now. So for everybody who's dealing with any sort of handler, low-field reptilian, thottery that is in your life, anything in yourself that isn't healthy, this is a release. This is an executive order. The horns are an executive order. This is a purge. The purge is commenced. That's the purge music. You know I'm very dramatic. I'm such a Sag. This is a commencement to release all things that aren't for your highest and greatest good. Let us release it. Focus on it if you want. This is you purging, you releasing. This is an executive order. This has to happen. This isn't you asking. This is you're commanding your rights. You accepting that you are here to be free and clear, and you aren't tethered by any others' intentions that aren't for you and your family's benefit. So if you can accept that, if you can accept that and release that, this is for you. So you notice that I'm letting everything burn down. I'm in, my house will be smoked out, but it's okay. This is for everyone who's ever felt heartache, release it. This is for anyone who has always felt as if they always were hampered by something dark and demonic. This is a release. This is a release party, everyone. Release anything that isn't service your highest and greatest good. Release every doubt you have about yourself. Release the sadness that has been hampering your life. Release the trauma that you've had as a child that you haven't been able to let go. Release anything and everything that isn't for your highest and greatest good. This is beautiful. Look how beautiful it's simmering. Look, that's all of it going away. That's everything being, look at that. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Look at it, it's beautiful. It's leaving. That's gone. It's almost gone. Look at that, family. This is amazing. This is beautiful. Look at that. Goodbye. Sayonara, peace. It's gone. North, south, east, and west. Thank you, Meadow. Goodbye. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord splits you. Remember, oh, I'm getting ashes everywhere. Okay. Goodbye. The executive order has now been implemented. All of those things that were hampering your heart, stultifying your growth, those people in your life that weren't there for you and perhaps hindering you or showing aspects of yourself that needed to be released, this is what it is. It's all ashes now. Look at that, it's beautiful. Look at it, it's almost all done. Let's make sure. We want to make sure everything is taken care of. Goodbye. Goodbye. And if you see any piece that still isn't burning, you can always do a reignite. Hold on. Because I see a little piece that needs to be ignited. We want to make sure we're rid of everything. The executive order says everything has to go. The executive order says there isn't anything that should be left. Burned and cleared. There we go. Ashes to ashes and dust to dust. Okay, so what we did right now, you see that everything is basically incinerated. That's everything, family. That's everything that's bothered you. Look at that. But guess what? We're not done. We aren't done. Because even though we've cleared, we want to bury it. There isn't any reason for it to come back. So I have some goodies that I brought from on site. We're going to bury because it's done. Nice. Now we're burying it. I'm burying it completely. You notice that? I don't want to see any more ashes. It should be totally covered. This is fresh dirt from on site, so it's being totally cleared. Do you feel that? Do you feel how amazing you should feel? Do you feel okay? How do you guys feel? Look at that. It's all covered. We burned, we purged, we burned, we cleared. The executive orders were put out. They were executed, and look at that. It's all gone. And this will be nicely buried under my Harry Potter tree. Look at that. Do you feel amazing? Woo! It's a celebration. Burn and bury. Lunar eclipse. We just followed through with our executive orders. Let me take some water. I feel good. Listen, I was on site burning. I felt like a chili pepper. And I think a lot of times, someone had asked me before, you know, do I personally think that doing these things are helpful? Absolutely. I know that it works. I think sometimes what it is that we need outside tools to accept a visual, so it helps to clear us. Today is our day, a wonderful ushering out and clearing. We're clearing out the old, which is nice during a retrograde because all that old residue anyway is kicking up. It's like old dust. So basically we took that old residue and we can utilize it because we're in retrograde mode. So we took everything that we needed. We cleared out everything that wasn't for our highest and greatest good. You should feel amazing, especially if you put intent into that. Big up to the sea stars and sun stars who actually made an amazing request for me to do so. And again, when I did it on site, it was the phone overheated. That's how hot it was. I was outside like a chili pepper. It was hot, like I said, it was hot like heaven. I was burning up. You know, I'm doing several burn and buries, and it was hot. I could feel the clearing. I could feel the release, and just like now, I felt it. I feel clear right now. I feel amazing. So if you didn't get a chance, I always say this is always a wonderful way to clear. For years, I've always done bury, but I decided to do burn and bury at the under the guise of some amazing sea stars who I know have been a part of the metaphysical community for a long time, who are very respected. They said part of the burning is clearing away. It's almost like the disinfectant. So you burning it burns the intent, burning it, clearing it out, and sending it out into the stratosphere. And basically, I always add, they love that I add the burying. I always bury everything. You know how dogs bury the bones and things like that? I always bury everything, things that I want and things that I don't want at the same time, okay? So as always, as a form of clearing. So I hope everybody feels amazing. Listen, I had some huge requests. It was amazing how many requests. I could only do so many clear burn-in releases. I did 3. Those are the ones that I definitely wanted to do. But again, all you need is parchment paper. I have parchment paper in my room, but if you don't, this is wonderful. Paper bags. You know, as a mom, I always have paper bags for everything. You know, I have little people, so put their snacks in brown paper bags and everything like that. You do that with a red pen. Today's Tuesday. You use the red as the lunar eclipse, and it's Tuesday, which is Mars Day. Mars is represented by red. You know, make sure you do that. You know, if you're going to do like I did. And why people say, well, why do you go to a graveyard? Listen, I had a friend who passed away. And one of the things we made a pact to do previous to him passing is that either him or myself, if we passed, we would also, anything that was desired in flesh or in ether, we would go to each other for. So it was a pact that we made before he passed away. He passed away in 2016. It seems a while now, 2016. I love him, and I go to him, and I always bring him goodies, because remember, whenever you go to anyone, you know, anyone, how do you dispose? I'm gonna bury this under my Harry Potter tree. She's amazing grandmother, and that's all I'm gonna do. And it's beautiful. So, you know, I put it under, but I love my friend, and I always bring him goodies. He passed in 2016, and it was, at the time, it was heartbreaking, but I always visit him, and, you know, he comes to me either space, but this time I decided to go to him to do our clearing, cutting cords. You can cut it up as well. Some people do, remember, with releasing and cutting cords, whatever you feel. Like I felt like after talking to some of the sea stars, oh yes, please like the video. If we have 378 people in here, please like the video. I appreciate it. Thank you. I always forget to ask you to like the video. Please like the video, just to show that you are in support of the video. Because a lot of times what happens is that, you know, YouTube is doing their own little thing and their own little censoring. So, you know, our family is beautiful size. It's perfect for us. We don't necessarily need a huge conglomerate of people, because then you start bringing all kinds of, you know, FBI agents and Agent Smiths. We have a beautiful group. So if you just show me that they like, and also let YouTube know that we about this life, that it isn't just people talking or being cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, making things up. But one of the things my friend who passed away loves, he loves Corona. So you know I don't drink, but I bought him a Corona. So this is for my homie who passed away. I always bring him a Corona. This is his favorite. He used to drink. He wasn't a big drinker, but he liked a cold, icy Corona. And also one thing that he did like that that I did get for him was cigars. So I bought him a beautiful Dominican cigar. and he loved this. So I always bring that to him, even though he passed. He has not crossed over yet, only because one of the things we also discussed before he passed is that he wasn't to go to the false light. So he's been waiting. Apparently, according to the ether, he hasn't seen anything. So he's waiting in the other side. And I told him today, if he wanted to leave through the eclipse opening gate, this is a time. And I told him to listen to his horns. Some people hear, when you pass away, remember we talked about the false light on the dark side of the moon, that's where you recycle your soul. We discussed that one of the things you don't do, or you refrain from doing, is going to the light or going to false people that they'll put in front of you to lure you into the recycling aspect of being recycled, cleared, recycled, and brought back into the matrix. So you listen to your soul sound. Everybody has a different soul sound. Some people hear a trickling of water. Some people hear horns. Some people hear drums. I hear drums. He used to hear, I always say he hears horns. He hasn't heard the horns yet, so he hasn't crossed over. So I told him if he hears the horns today, he should cross over. So this is for him. I bought this yesterday for him. I don't smoke cigars, but he does. And I got him this. It's not here anymore because I left it with him. So I always do that as people consider that an offering. If I go to your house, it's a house gift. You know what I mean? I don't come empty-handed to your house. So call it what it is. So big up to my homie who also helped with the executive order. I think it's amazing that, like I said, if either him or I went, we were always going to do that for one another or with one another. So he's about that life. And even when he crossed over, he's still about that life. Okay, so did everyone clear today? Congratulations for anyone who's clearing those unsavory aspects of yourself. Do you have to use it on grave? No, you don't have to use graveyard dirt. You do not. That isn't necessary. For anyone who's on here, that isn't necessary. I do it because that's just what I do. You do what makes you feel rightful, okay? Crossover, yes, he's passed away. Yeah. My homie who I go to see, for anyone who knows, he passed away. So, like I said, I've known him before. He passed away in 2016, tragically. We always had a pact with each other previous to that, and when I go to visit him at his gravesite, I always bring him a Corona because he liked to have a cold Corona. He wasn't a drinker. He liked a cold Corona, and he liked a nice cigar, a Dominican cigar. So I always bring him something when I go, and he enjoyed it. So, it's amazing because I don't, like I said, these aren't things that I drink. So I got him a Corona and a cigar, which I kept there with him. And I'm sure he enjoyed it. I light it and I leave it there for him to enjoy, and his energetic field is still there. He's still there. So he comes to me in ether, and that's who I release with. So I did my release party at his site on his ground. And this is also for non-violation. I don't just go to anybody's clearing. So that's what I do. Yeah, I mean, it's a cycle of life, and I always tell you, like, I may be here today, and if my body isn't here any other day, I'm still here soul-wise, or I'll reincarnate in my family dynamics. So I think it's very important for you to acknowledge the cycle of life. It isn't anything to fear, because remember, we all come in here on our own, and we'll all leave on our own, generally speaking. So for that reason, we should respect life, and we should respect those who have transitioned on past this physical form, especially if we knew them personally. And, I make it a point to, when especially with my dad or anybody, I always talk to them previous to anything, even my children. And I say, listen, I'm here regardless. And even if you don't have a physical avatar to talk to, you always know energetically I'm around. Okay? So yeah, we are infinite. Thank you, Sean. Absolutely. So is everyone clear today? I'm going to bury this stuff. So anybody, remember again, for those who are just walking in the room, you don't want to reincarnate. My aunt son, I understand. Listen, the recycling, let me explain something. The recycling center over on the dark side of the moon is on and popping right now. They are looking for lots of recycled souls because a lot of you are ascending past the point of reincarnation, at least in this low density. So that's why I always say it's a good conversation to have, that if you are opting out for recycling, that you make sure you hit above the curve. Okay, so you have to make sure your frequency hits above 5D and up in order not to go through that basic 3D, 4D recycling, 2D recycling station that they have on the dark side of the moon. It's no joke. And that's why they have the false light. I think big up to Dr. Delbert Blair, rest in power, to Dr. Delbert Blair, who also talked about the recycling bin, recycling bin over on the dark side of the moon, that they've been utilizing, and they give you a false light on the other side. It's like this, it's almost like the sun simulator. And a lot of people who have semi-crossed over or had near-death experiences talk about that light and how they felt it wasn't normal. It wasn't healthy for some people. Or if people saw loved ones, and I personally think that that isn't the case. I think you do have loved ones who wait for you actually in physicality, but I think sometimes if they can't get you through the sense of the false light, they'll put false loved ones, like a tunnel of loved ones there that are supposed to be but that's all a holograph. So be careful with that, okay? That's all I'm saying. So look, I'm gonna take something. I hide everything in my bosom. So this is eucalyptus. So because I was burning, it's not drugs. This is eucalyptus. I do this to clear my nasal passages. This is also good for chemtrails or little people. So whenever you're going out and you have chemtrails all over and you kind of want to clean your sinuses, you know, Bobby Hemmett talked a lot about this. Usually burn eucalyptus in the house, but I carry it on me. This is a neti stick. So what you do is I always put it in my bosom, and because I was burning stuff in the house to clean my nasal passages, and everything's in a bra. And then I put it right in here. Nobody knows it's there. Wait, let me put it in between. I told you I'm that auntie. I'm that mama that does the weird, quirky things online, and I'm unapologetic about it. This is a nice thing about being more seasoned, a C-star. I've been there, done that. Embarrassment, all that, trying to improve, make people feel better about me. I'm okay with me. This is what, I'm okay with me. I had to say that to someone the other day. I was like, what someone feels about me has nothing to do with me. As long as I'm healthy and I show up in a way that I feel is integrity ridden and I know my heart is good, I'm all good. You know what I mean? As long as you like you, how people feel about you hasn't anything to do with you. Now, if everybody has a general consensus that you're a narcissist, I think you might want to, if everyone's telling Florburn she's a pure narcissist, I got to take that in consideration because I'm getting a general collective consensus on my behavior that might be relative. So in case that's the case, like if everyone's saying that I'm a narcissist, I may have to reevaluate whether I'm a narcissist or not. So, I'm talking about things like that, but for the most part, it's all good in the hood. Like I remember years ago, they were like, is she a witch? I already told you. If I'm a good witch or a bad witch, I'm not a witch at all. I love everything. I utilize every pattern of metaphysics and metaphysical sacred geometry, supreme mathematics, forms of what is it called? Alchemy. I utilize everything as needed. So, I know that the Matrix has made people compartmentalize. Like if you're a Christian, you can't very well study the Quran. If you're a Jewish person, you very well can't study the Bible. If you're, they make it so that they compartmentalize everything. So you don't realize that in order to actually survive in this Matrix, you got to utilize all of the goulash. I mean, there's so many things that we have at hand to utilize in order to, this should be a survival kit for the Matrix. Sometimes you're going to use a little Wicca to get out of a scenario. Sometimes you have to use holy water because some of these demons only respect Jesus Christ. Sometimes you're going to have to read the Quran in order to respect yourself and to respect your temple and to get involved as far as ritualistic behavior. Sometimes you're just going to have to be a little fairy in order to enjoy nature and to respect the natural pattern of the elements that you engage with daily. These are all parts of the world that you can utilize, parts of metaphysics that you can utilize. But if you compartmentalize it and only use one aspect as opposed to another, and then you judge the others, then you're going to leave yourself susceptible to any kind of infiltration that's coming from some other, enemy set. Okay, so, if a Nazi's coming for you, you darn Skippy better know how to utilize some of their sacred geometry to combat some of their demons. Okay, so we have to be a little more balanced in how we perceive things and the things that we have a host of things to utilize on this planet. And those are all for you. They give us the tools. It's like a video game. We're in an interactive video game. You have all the tools necessary in order to survive and also thrive in this matrix if you accept them. But if you're always judging it based on, oh my gosh, she's not a Christian. I can't, oh, she believes in it, because if she's not a Christian, she's a devil. You see what I mean? That's compartmentalization, and also that's a form of Stockholm syndrome. Why are you villainizing somebody because they're not following your pattern of MK Ultra? Because maybe your pattern of MK Ultra is limiting you, and maybe if you hung out with that sea star that likes to burn sage in Santo Paulo, and she doesn't have demonic attachments, but every time you go to church on Sunday, the preacher's basically infecting you with other forms of archon in your brain, and that's why maybe hubby's drinking every night because he's infected. So maybe your life isn't all quite so shiny because you haven't accepted things that are outside of your perimeter of understanding. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I'm not judging you, but I'm saying sometimes you can limit yourself so much by judging people harshly. Oh my God, look at those brown people. They think that they're God. You know, what's wrong with that? You know, there are brown people on this planet who actually accept their goddess status, that they personally think that their melanin is magic, and that's a good thing. So why even bother judging them because they think they're magical? Would you prefer they think that they're slaves and they were actually part of a false narrative of slavery that didn't exist in the Americas based on lies being perpetuated in books that weren't written by people who look like them? That's insane. So accept other people's divinity, and that helps for recognition of your own. That's all. That's all. You know, we have to be very, very rational when engaging in this world, because everything shows up in a way to either limit you or free you. And if you understand and understand that that is the case in the aspect of duality, then you'll be free to clear and clean yourself. We just cleared demons off of us today. Many of you won't listen. Many of you just rebuked the demons in your house today. Many of you are going to go home, if you're from work and you're watching this video, or just from the very burning away of the things that you put into our burn and bury kind of ritual. I don't know what it was called, what we did. You're going to go home feeling happier. You're going to go home and be like, oh my gosh, I feel free. That's what we're supposed to experience on this earth. Unhappiness, abuses, those are all forms of archonic inception that are meant for others to feed off of your fear and your sadness. Because that is a form of nutrition from some non-visual beings that are coexisting with you that you're unaware of. They feed off of sadness, anger, and victimization. So if you are happy all the time, or you've released everything that isn't for your highest and greatest good, then what can they feed off of? So they have to leave. So that's what I'm saying. Some of you will go home and your husbands will be gone. You should be grateful you don't have to wash his dirty drawers anymore. And we talked about the thotteries. If a thottery is calling you about what your man is doing, what your woman's doing, congratulate them and say, you know what, you just won the Nazi lottery. You know what, I'm going to step out and allow you to take on all of the darkness that I've had to take on by choice. I'm releasing that in my life so I could be free and clean. I can make a dinner that I want instead of catering to his behind. I can actually love myself and spend time going and steaming my yoni and speaking to men that blow my mind with sacred geometry and talk about me being a goddess and return to Amazonian love. I could do that. So if he's left you sea stars or sun stars, your diabolical sea star, not sea star, your diabolical thottery has left with your best friend, let them go, because that is a gift. Because if something isn't in your vibration, you shouldn't want to keep it around, because all it will do will make you sick and it will hamper your peace of mind. Release it. This is a release party. Basically, we should utilize this as a release party. Don't cry. Dry your eyes. It's unnecessary. What is for you will always come to you. And if you accept that, you will always be in peace of mind. Listen, You always see Fleur Brune semi, I have moments because, sometimes it's not that peaceful, but 90% of the time I'm grateful that my life is peaceful. You know why? Because I had a Nazi that I had to rebuke. And every time that Nazi tries to come back, whether it's verbally, visually, calling me, I rebuke him because I like my peace of mind and I accept that anything that's for me is going to be already in my life comfortable. If it isn't in my life comfortably or it causes my world to be, in disharmony, I won't accept it. So I rebuke anything that isn't for my highest and greatest good. So if that means that I'm alone on my cloud with my coffee and my cherries and sometimes my twin flame, I'll accept it. So stop crying over these demonic beings being in your life. Stop crying over jobs. If you are at a job right now where your boss is a straight up sociopath, it's time to reevaluate your decisions. Is having that big TV, that car that has a payment that supersedes even barely your income, you think it's worth it to be abused or have to slave in order to keep up things that aren't even going to last past 5 or 6 years? You have to reevaluate that. I know Nistas who got fired 5 years ago and are more abundant now than they ever were when they were working in a matrix job. Listen to that. At first, they were in shock because, of course, changing your whole dynamics of how you exist, and your concept of abundance, you have to rewire yourself, kind of like reset yourself. But once you accept that listen, as long as you could buy your crystals, you could drink some clean water, and it does not take a lot to get a filter, because, we all prepared, and you have a roof over your head that is just yours. I don't care if it's a 2x2, but it is goddess space. You could make a 2x2 with some beautiful greenery, some Santo Palo. You could be naked and unafraid in your room, occasionally have a fresh mango. That's peace. Why do you need a house 42,000 square feet, 6,400 square feet? Of loneliness, of bills, of responsibilities are beyond your comprehension, being slave to materialism, being a slave to the work of building somebody else's, a Bilderberg's household. Why? Do you in a healthy way. As long as, if you have children, I have mothers who feel a certain way about their children. If they leave the comfort of these matrix jobs, what will happen to the children if they can't pay for the 50 million dance lessons? Guess what, Nistas? Why don't you dance with them? Why don't you turn on music in the house? YouTube has a host of free dance lessons and things like that. You dance with them. Why are you paying $1,000 every 2 to 3 weeks to put them in dance lessons when you could do that on YouTube? You could free yourself and be more resourceful, and you can spend time with them, enjoying the peace of mind with them. We have to change and rewire the way that we think, because the matrix is collapsing and that old form of patriarchy is done. We are now in the new cycle where it is more natural, more cohesive, and more balanced. It isn't necessary for you to go outside of yourself for anything, because everything you need and require is within yourself, including the very peace of mind required for your family dynamics. You have to make that choice. That's why it's considered free will, but they bypass your free will every time you sign on to their MK Ultra programs. Okay? You can ride a dune buggy every day rather than riding in your Mercedes Series E, okay? I know people who are happy in Brazil right now, and they ride a motorped to work every day, and they look like they look like they're in love with life. This is what the release party's about. Releasing those old dynamics of behavior and patterns of belief systems that have limited you. You are perfect in the way that you showed up. Goddess hasn't ever made a mistake. I don't care if you have 1 leg, 2 legs, 1 eye, 3 eyes, 2 breasts, 40. You are perfect in the way that Goddess made you show up. Anything saying anything else about you outside of yourself, that is their opinion. That has nothing to do with you. If there are beings in your life, in your household, or in your general consensus that are making you feel, or you deem are making you feel ways that are less than healthy for yourself, they need to be purged unapologetically. Today is the purge party. The executive orders have gone out. We are now clearing space for those twin flames to come in, more higher forms of abundance that maybe you judge because they came from a Muslim as opposed to a Christian, waves of abundance that came via maybe the south side of town instead of the north side of town, maybe waves of abundance that came from you letting go old patterns of behavior that are stoic, that come from your family dynamics that they're not even healthily displaying nowadays. That's just what it is. Let's leave what's unnecessary alone. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. All right? This is a release party, everybody. Executive orders have been now executed. You are now free and clear to do what you'd like to do. You can now enjoy your life in a way that you didn't think you could previously. Enjoy. Go dancing with your hubby tonight and tell him how amazing he smells. Go and enjoy sitting down in a park and never looking or clearing yourself or taking 0 looks at your watch or unaware of time because it isn't relevant to you. We need to become more collectively independent because that is how we are going to free ourselves from the system of control that these mofos have inserted on us. Oh my gosh, thank you, Narda. Narda, thank you. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh. Thank you. I needed to hear this affirmation only a couple days ago. I was unjustly fired from my job by a woman who was hired less than 3 months ago. As a RN, hold on.
The purpose of our highest potential.
As a RN, BSN, I was adored by my colleagues and clients alike. This message was for me. Oh, Narda, thank you so much. And it was for you. You were freed up, Narda, and you're already about this life. This was a gift to you. This is a gift for your freedom. You're amazing. And we've talked before. I thank you and I'm grateful to you, and you are in alignment for the change and the shift. You were meant to be in a freedom mode where you're now going to be able to do exactly what you were meant to do. You're a healer. The very fact that you're an RN means that you're a healer. Most people who choose those genres are healers, natural healers. Now you can engage in the world. Now you can travel, Narda. Now you can, they fired you, so now you have a nice little check. Let's keep it real, where you can relax every day and you aren't getting up, working hours and being on your feet and doing for others. Now, Narda, you can do for yourself. So yes, the message is for you, and I really appreciate the donation. Thank you, I appreciate it. I love you. And you're free and clear. So enjoy yourself, and we'll see you in Brazil. Everyone, this is our release party. Enjoy yourself today. Just like when we do on the 13th, this is a wonderful lunar eclipse day. Normally, I talk about the moon. This is an eclipse day, meaning the moon is partially not seen. This is a time when we celebrate. Clear out. Narda lost, but she didn't lose her job. She gained her freedom. Let's see it from another way. Narda actually gained her freedom. She actually got papers to free herself. And that's beautiful. Her colleagues adored her, but they knew her worth. Now she actually can live in her worth. She can enjoy everything that she desired to do without the tether of having to be confined to an hour, a time, someone else's, healing others. Now she can heal herself. She can heal those around her directly and probably energetically, maybe find another niche that allows her freedom to enjoy her little enclave of life in her own way. I love you, Narda. It's amazing. And congratulations for being granted freedom. That is what many people have a need for, and you were actually granted that. Congratulations. It's beautiful. Everyone on here, cheers. Cheers to all those. Clearing, listen, we had a clearing story. We have many that are clearing tonight. You have clearing for the next 2 days. We have a lunar eclipse. I think it lasts, the 16th to the 17th. It's amazing. Make sure, like I said, whatever you desire, the things that maybe you put on the back pedal to be unable to do, you do for yourself. Go soak your feet in salt water if you feel like you need to clear your space. This is amazing. Cheers. Everyone's cheering. This is beautiful. You got your freedom. That's right. Absolutely. Freedom papers. That everybody listen, and again, freedom is different for everyone. Freedom papers come in so many different forms, but the things that are binding us to scenarios and other situation where we're unable to move, there isn't any flexibility, that isn't for us. Not in this paradigm, not in the 5D. 5D allows you to float. If you want to float to Italy, by all means, you may do it on a on a broom. You may do it on a floating rug. You may do it in an airplane. You may do it in another way, etherically. But that's what 5D is about: being unlimited. You know, taking away the limitations and being able to think it and it coming into manifestation instantaneously. That's part of being in 5D mode. So the fact of the matter is, anything that you desire to clear you and give you more freedom and flexibility, release it today. This is a release party. Take this as, and even those who are not really feeling me, who think I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puff, even you who see me as a crazy woman, prove me wrong or prove me right. Prove me wrong or right. You too clear it out and you tell me how you feel. It doesn't matter how you feel about me. If you feel better and you clear any demons, archons, anything that's binding you, I'm okay. I'm happy for you. Doesn't matter how you feel about me. So you too, I want you to be free and clear. Because it isn't a personal, it's a personal journey in the self, how we show up. But collectively, if we keep freeing each other, we are going to end up having a collective that allows for freedom to show up in all different stratospheres, all different timelines. It's amazing. So everyone, enjoy your magnificent day. This is a lunar eclipse partial. If you have, again, for those walking in, we did our burn and bury already. I showed you how to take a parchment paper or paper like this. You write down the things that you are clearing today. Make sure you stay with negations out, meaning there shouldn't be any no's, nevers, don't. You want to make sure you write, I want to clear myself from anything that isn't for my highest and greatest good. I want to, I want to be in existence of things that are for my benefit overall, for my family dynamics, whatever it is, clear that. I want to cut cords from beings that aren't here for my healthiness or disallow for my freedom. I want to clear my job or my energetic work. I want to find, these are things, clear it out, write it in all caps, because you know caps is more energy. Today is Tuesday, it's Mars Day, so we use red. You take this, we burned this already. I did 3 Nistas and Nistos intentions, executive orders, burn. And you know, I utilize the good old fashioned, for my homies site, I use graveyard dirt to bury it, and then I put it underneath my tree. So this is a time when you can do this. You have there isn't any asking anymore. Don't beg anyone for anything. It's unsavory for you to do so. You should never have to beg for your freedom or for justice. Justice is what you accept. I accept justice and karmic, all the karmic debt to be paid today. Everything that is owed will be paid. So this is your release party. Enjoy it. Always encourage others to be in their empowerment, because by you doing a spin-off to others, it allows for them to reverberate throughout the different timelines in their general environment that will only benefit everything around them, including you. So, you know, share with your friends. Tell them it's a lunar eclipse. Even if they think you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, tell them it's a release party. If you want to have a gathering tonight in red and black. We aren't gangsters. We're goddesses. We're gods in ourselves, godsons. Enjoy this day. Bury and burn today. Yes, bury and burn. That's what we did. You can rewatch the video at the beginning when you see I did bury and burn. I was out on site earlier. I was literally burning up like a chili pepper because it was hot as heaven. My phone overheated, so I couldn't do it on site, the visual. Make sure that you do your release today. I think it's a perfect day on a Tuesday. I look forward to hearing and acknowledging and witnessing all of the freedom and the amazing journeys and the spectacular shares that will come with you releasing this release party. Because this in itself is the first of many that we will have. And we need to take advantage of the eclipses. Remember, the diabolical ones always utilize the phases of the moon and eclipses to do what they want to do. But it's not about them, it's about you. So what is it that you desire? What is it that you want to do? What is it that is best for you and your family dynamics? You have every right to utilize the same energy that they've been coaxing and hiding and doing under the guise of, you know, saying it's diabolical, using 13s for themselves, telling black cats are negative, you know, everything that they've utilized, they've benefited off of. But it isn't their cycle anymore. It's your cycle. So what are you going to do? All right? So I love you, Narda. Congratulations. Thank you again. Congratulations for your freedom paper. Congratulations to anyone who feels that they were, what could have been deemed as a loss is actually a gain. All right? So enjoy your amazing day. I'm going to go and enjoy the rest of the release, because the release party is basically a whole day event. So I'm basically going to enjoy the release party. I'm going to watch and observe from a happy distance. All right, family? So take care, be mindful, release, purge, and celebrate. All right? I love you. Congratulations again to everyone has been released or basically ejected from their situations that allow for them to enjoy. All right? So I love you. Peace.